So Killjoy is the next agent coming to Valorant with the release of the next act, which is dropping on August 4th. In this video, I'm going to go over Killjoy herself, analyze each one of her abilities, and give my thoughts on her as a whole. So thank you for hanging with me today, guys. My name is Iridium, and let's get right into Killjoy's abilities. So the article that I'm referencing the info from for these abilities is from a German gaming site called GameStar. So when reading, some of these sentences may seem a little off grammatically, and that's just because it was translated from German. So with that being said, first up we have Killjoy's AlarmBot. So according to this website, you can place the little bot anywhere on the map. There he waits for enemies passing by and rushes at them. But instead of doing a lot of damage like Raze's Boombot, it helps you debuff your opponent so you can get them done easier. From pretty much what we know, this does a double damage debuff, and in this clip you can see the person literally one-clicking them with a classic pistol. So the bot itself does not do a lot of damage, which is what we like. Moving on, the AlarmBot does not do much damage itself, but rather serves as a reconnaissance ability and debuff, which is therefore similar to Cypher's Tripwire. And in the final sentence here, we can see that you can't place the AlarmBot on walls like you can with Cypher's Wire. And finally, we can see the price of it, which costs 200 credits per round. So I think the most important thing about this bot is the fact that it does that double damage debuff. Once it pops after an enemy crosses into its line of sight or its radius or whatever, it'll do that little bit of damage to them, give them that debuff so you have time to whip to them and finish them off. So I believe with any of these abilities, we're able to pick them back up and place them just like you would with Cypher's Tripwires or something. So if you throw it on your AlarmBot and no one ends up coming to your site, you can pick it back up and help use it in a retake or taking a different site, for example. And at the end of the explanation of the AlarmBot, we get to see a little cool piece of lore, which just says that Raze stole one of Killjoy's AlarmBots and made it into her Boombot. The only question I do have about this debuff is how long it actually lasts when you get hit by the AlarmBot, but again, that just adds to the excitement that I have to play Killjoy when she comes out, because I'll be able to find that out then. So moving on, we have Killjoy's next ability, which is her turret, and this is her signature ability. According to this website, Killjoy's turret works a lot like Torbjorn's gun from Overwatch. I actually don't really play much Overwatch, but I definitely have seen Torbjorn's gun. It just kind of stands there, shoots people if they're in the line of sight or the radius of its cone or whatever. According to the developers, the turret starts shooting in 3 volleys, so I guess it just bursts 3 bullets after 0.75 seconds. So apparently at close range you take 8 damage, medium range you take 6 damage, and then far range you take 4 damage. But this is per ball, so I guess if you get hit by all 3 at close range, the max would be like 24 damage. It's really not that bad. Like Riot stated before, even before this game even came out, they do not want the abilities to overpower the gunplay, so I think this is very good that it does not do that much damage. I feel like the best part about this turret is the fact that it just shoots people when they're in the line of sight. You can use it more of a reconnaissance weapon. You can pop the turret down in, say, B main of Split, and then just let it shoot people, which alerts you that there's someone there, so you can focus your attention to the B main instead. At the end of the explanation, we can see that it has 125 life points, so it's pretty much just the health of someone with light armor. And like we stated before, we can in fact pick this turret back up, so if no one ends up coming to your site, you can just pick it up and bring it away. I'm not sure how far you have to be away from it to pick it up, but in the little clip we can see that she walks right up to it and just picks it up really easily. So Killjoy's third ability is called Nano Swarm, and this seems to be like a deployable molly or grenade that you can just set on the floor and let it go, and then trigger it to your liking whenever you want. The Nano Swarm is a small grenade or trap that you can put on the floor. It deals a lot of damage, but you have to activate it yourself. Once it's placed on the floor, it becomes invisible to the enemy. So this may be like Cypher's Tripwire, where you have to be really close to it to see it, and then you can shoot it and get rid of it. I know a lot of people may think this might be a pretty overpowered ability of Killjoy herself, because in the video, the person dies quite quickly when they're standing in the middle of the Nano Swarm. But if they were to stand like that in a Viper Pit or like a Brimstone Molly or a Phoenix Molly, they would die pretty much just as fast. And not to mention, he's literally not moving at all, so I feel like you can easily run through this, even though you'll take a lot of damage. And again, we don't have all the context, so we do not know how easy it is to get rid of the Nano Swarm if we know where it is, if we're on the enemy team. And lastly, Killjoy's ultimate is called Lockdown, and this one is pretty interesting. From this website, we know that it costs 7 points, and once it is activated, it takes 13 seconds to detonate and release the debuff. And this debuff just prevents enemies from using weapons skills for I think about 8 seconds. And we can see the amount of health points that the Lockdown actually has is 150, which is just equal to a fully armored opponent. So it shouldn't be that hard to spray down if you are in line of sight of it. So if you're actually playing Killjoy, you want to make sure this is in quite the safe place, because it takes 13 seconds to detonate and because it doesn't have that many life points. But if you're trying to defend a site or take a site and you get this debuff off, it shouldn't be that hard to clean up kills if you know where everyone is that's being hit by this debuff. So after looking at all of Killjoy's abilities and getting a bit more info on the strength of them from the article, in my opinion, she isn't going to be too crazy overpowered. Usually in these trailers of new agents, Riot tends to show off the agent in a way which makes them seem super overpowered, when they most likely will be quite balanced once people get used to them. If we remember when Reyna came out, pretty much no one knew how to counter her Leer flash, but once players learned to shoot it immediately, Reyna quickly became a mid to low tier agent, at least in competitive. So all in all, I'm definitely excited for Killjoy to release and have everyone try her out, along with everything else that will be releasing with Act 2 of Ignition. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Killjoy and the upcoming Act 2 in the comments below. I'll be replying to all you guys. Also, make sure to leave a like for that good old YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more Valorant content here on my channel. Thank you for watching today, guys. And on that note, ta-ta for now.